Okay, so this is video of a photo shoot I did for IMA. We did a 70s shoot, 80s, 70s, inspired by Fashion Fair, the relaunch. So we kind of went vintage. You saw that magazine cover, that was my inspo. My model, as you can see, had a recent breakout. So she had a lot of darkness, like a lot of spots on her face, chest, and body. So I started by just cleaning her face with some NARS toner. Then I went in with moisturizer and a little bit of anti-shine in her T-zone. This part is a little bit tedious, but it really helps. I'm taking an orange corrector from Graftobium and my favorite synthetic blender brush from Sedona Lace. And on some of the darker spots, I just go in there and neutralize it with the orange. So I'm using this stamping motion. I went in a little closer for you guys, and I'm hitting all those dark spots, pre-correcting before foundation. Sorry, the camera quality is a little off. This was done on my phone, and the way that my tripod was angled, the lighting was a little bit off, but hopefully you're okay with that. So now I'm going in with foundation. This is actually Makeup Forever Matte Velvet, which is a new foundation we're adding to our kits at Industry Makeup Academy. And as you can see, it can be very full coverage. And I'm using it with the new Anissa Pinnacle foundation brush, which is lovely. I'm purposely doing this patting motion because I don't want the foundation to disturb the corrector underneath. I want it to just lay right on top without turning orange. And it builds full coverage. So you don't need a lot. So that's why you should just kind of like build it and just add in light layers. And it's really correcting really well, as you can see. So the foundation up close, it was giving me some issues still. From far away, it looks like an instant cover. So I had to pull out a couple of tricks out of my sleeve, including some airbrush. This is a new airbrush. It's not new, but it's new to me. It's a Temp2 Pro Air foundation. And it's the pods versus a traditional foundation, the traditional airbrush machine, which I usually use. So this is a shade number 7, and it's a little bit lighter. So I use it as a center color, and it gives me a little bit more flawless coverage because I'm actually touching the face, so I can build easily. Then I go back in with a darker shade of Matte Velvet from Makeup Forever to kind of give her outer perimeter color and a little bit more balance to the body. So now we go in, I'm using Graftobian cream foundation mixed in with a little bit of their yellow highlight, and now this is the, I guess, concealing highlight shade. So I went for a couple different layers, but it really does make a difference because it won't be as cakey that way. So now I'm using a little bit of a bigger brush because I want to blend out the edges. This is kind of substituting my beauty blender, which I don't use on clients anymore for sanitation purposes. So do you see how the face has a lot more, highlight, contour, and balance to it? Next, I'm setting it with powder. I'm using this powder puff to really get it in there. I'm using Laura Mercier Honey Translucent Powder, which is a good highlight shade for her skin tone. And in retrospect, I didn't need to let this bake as long as I did. I had actually focused the powder under her eyes, though, because I knew I was going to do some black, like a smoky eye. So on the rest of the face, I'm using a darker translucent, which is NARS Mountain, which is another one of my favorites. So I don't want to use that honey all over because I don't want it to lighten up the foundation too much. Next, I go in with a base from Smashbox. This is their dark eye primer, which is great for darker skin tones. It just neutralizes it enough and gives a nice lighter primed canvas for eyeshadow. So I start on this side. I kind of mix it up. I started with my base, which is NARS Black Pencil Liner, which is lovely. It's super dark. And then I smudge it out with some black eyeshadow. I use Makeup Geek Corrupt, which is my go-to black eyeshadow in the kit. It's really dark and matte. And then in the waterline, I put this Rimmel Nude Pencil, which is really nice on deeper skin tones as well. It's a little less harsh than white in that waterline. This is copying the magazine picture because I noticed a lot of them did heavy dark liner all around the eyes, but not in the waterline. And on the eye, we're going with this like reddish tone, which will be like the same tone used throughout the face and the lips. So on the other eye, I actually put the eyeshadow first and then I did the liner. I switched it up because I found that this would be quicker. Where on her left side, I had done liner, then shadow then shadow second. So now I move to the lower lash line again, and I'm using that black pencil to get her lower lash line. Her eyes are definitely watering at this point, so you gotta have to kind of watch your model and give them breaks, you know? Like if you notice they're watering, maybe come back to it. So I'll come back to that later, and I'm doing the eyebrows. She has very thick brows, which are lovely, but they don't really match the shape of the arrow, which is a little bit thinner. So I'm going in with concealer, a lighter shade on her brow bone, to tediously kind of make them a little skinnier without making them look crazy. It's subtle, but it definitely softened the brow and helped to kind of make it a little bit more time period, more realistic. And then I fill it in a little teeny bit with MAC stud pencil. Okay, wiping off some of that powder. And as you can see, the look is starting to come together. I'm actually adding a teeny bit of shimmer to her lid. I wasn't really feeling just the red on her lid, which was what the picture looked like, but I kind of wanted to give it a little more cute factor. I added some Tatcha Dewy Setting Mist just to kind of re-liven up her skin. And now we begin with the blush. I start with Cloud Paint from Glossier as a base. I go back to blush so many times in this video because I feel like that really makes it look vintagey, makeup-y, the strong blush. So you'll see me layer that on quite a few times because blush does tend to fade. I popped on some lashes. These are just like the Demi Wispy style. I didn't go for crazy big lashes because again, they didn't have huge lashes back then. It was like more natural. Going in with a pencil brush and a little bit of Mineralized Skin Finish Natural from MAC to kind of shape the under eye lower lash line so it's not as thick. And then I also put a little bit more black on the base of the lashes to blend them. Okay, so here's my second layer of blush. This is now powder blush. I'm using a mix of red and orange to kind of get that same lid color. I actually use that blush as well on her lids. And on the lips, I go for MAC Brick lip pencil to outline and fill in. Again, matching the tones of the eyes and the cheeks. And then I switch to Make It Forever like an orangey pencil to highlight the center of the lip. So back in with airbrush. You didn't think you could layer it like this, but you can. It's because it's not disturbing the makeup. It's sitting right on top. This is kind of like finishing off. A lot of times when you have like discoloration and like skin issues, the makeup will wear a little bit. So I find that going in a little bit with the airbrush recovers gently. I'm not putting in a lot, just a little bit, so you can control the amount that comes out. So just a teeny bit on the highlighted areas for more coverage. And then I start to work on her body. As you can see, she does have some discoloration, a lot of dark spots on her body as well. So I'm just kind of testing out the Make It Forever Matte Velvet, and it covers really well. So I start by going in with the smaller synthetic brush, and I was like, yo, that's taking way too long. So I switched to the Anissa New Body Brush, their Pinnacle Body Brush, and it is amazing. It covers fast, and it like really puts it on full coverage, which I'm fine with full coverage on the body because it will be fast and it will look flawless. I don't really do as full cover on the face because I prefer more of a skin-like finish. But on the body, I was just putting it on. So I did a couple layers. First, I did a brown layer, and then I went in with more of a yellow tone to kind of like match her different tones on her face. And as you can see, that skin got covered right up. I even take it to her arms because I know most of the shots are beauty shots, which are like kind of chest up. And I even added just a little bit on her face. Now I'm going in with Sandanessa Myricks lipstick from her Feminist palette just to give a little bit more of a creamy sheen to the lip because they didn't really do a matte lip back then. It was more like, you know, a little bit of shine. And then to make it really 70s, I take a gold eyeshadow and I put it to the center of the lip as a highlight. I don't love that look, but it is very 70s. And I actually ended up topping it with a little gloss later to blend. Now I'm going in with mascara. This is a Mascara Guard. I love using this for fast mascara on my clients. I don't get mascara on their lids. I can just kind of move fast. And this is to help blend also her falsies. Now we're in with the third layer of blush, y'all. Because as you can see, the blush faded. Blush will fade over time. And if you do photo shoots, I recommend putting a little extra so that way it really captures on the photograph. And like I said, the strong blush was very reminiscent of that era. So even though it's not like my cup of tea, I wanted this to look vintage, and I really struggled to do that. I was like, girl, do not make this modern. Do not go with your natural sensibilities. Try to make this cute, but vintage. So now I'm curling the lashes. This is my individual lash curler, my Asian lash curler from Preya, which gives a nice little lift and security to the lash. And as you can see, the look kind of came together, right? So she put her outfit on, as you can see, really cute. And I go back in with the body makeup because her breast area was a little bit more pale, which a lot of girls have from tanning. So, yeah, this is what it's looking like. I'm really happy with the coverage. I think the skin coverage was a challenge, but the proper products and the proper application took right care of that. And I love how it came out. So again, final touches on the body. She curled her hair a little Farrah Fawcett style. And this is what the shoot looked like. This is the whole outfit. So cute, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And until next time, have a great night. Ciao, Bellas.